Alfred of Wessex seeks to unite the Isles under one banner.
Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Thrones of Britannia. This military campaign we have taken up against the Danelaw might have been quite put us in quite the dire situation in the start, but it's clearly turned into an utter rout for the Danish. And at this point, we have located 3 armies. We're gonna hopefully smite them all in this. Yes, just like the guy said, we can take them. So I think we're gonna be able to smash all 3 of them, and then it's gonna be all down to just mopping up as much of their territory as possible before the other combatants come in and take over. So there's 2 Scottish factions, for instance, that has declared war on them. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and do that. So as we see in the location right here, we have moved up from the town, and we've put ourselves in a position. So these 2 armies, if you remember last time, I think both of them were situated sort of around here. They were staying close to each other. As we can see, one of them is skedaddling, most likely trying to move back to the capital, trying to defend that. I've moved one of my armies to take up the town right here, so we actually control all the territory except for this one. And I have 2 armies free to go ahead and attack. So we've got the Wild Hawks, which should be able to attack this one. That should be a pretty easy one. And then we have the King's army, which should be able to get these guys. We will be fighting in a marsh though, which I'm not entirely sure we have. Hopefully it actually provides an interesting battlefield to fight out in the marsh. And then we have this guy. So Edward has been able to track down or come close enough that he's able to be within striking distance of these. And I think we'll go ahead and start off with the easy one, see if there's a possibility that maybe I can just go ahead and auto-assault this one, which if I do night attack it doesn't do anything different. I'm just gonna check because this one is also gonna be wetland territory, so I'm hoping it actually does anything on that. Yes, it actually provides some wetlands, so it's gonna be interesting when we fight the second battle. Unless the guy actually is able to retreat just like this guy did. But we're gonna go ahead and auto-assault this one because I don't think I will be able to fit 3 battles. Also this one I had a clear advantage over these guys since I was able to deploy almost twice the numbers. I'm gonna go ahead and replenish the warriors, and we're gonna move out of the marsh as well. And then
my men yearn to prove themselves.
I'm not entirely sure which one of these is going to be more difficult. This one is actually better troops, so I guess we'll do the king one first. Also, I think the king has more veteran troops. No, that does not actually compute because Edward actually has better troops than the king. So it's meeny miny mo. Which one goes first? I guess we'll go... Since the king is on the way to capital, that seems more sort of what's it called? That's like, you know, towards the end, like the I don't know, I can't come up with a word for it, but you get it, like the historical thing of like moving towards the capital. That's an important battle where when our king is able to crush the single army standing in the way of us attacking, laying siege to their capital. So we'll go ahead and have Edward go ahead and attack these guys, which technically also could be an auto-assault, but how many auto-assaults can we do? Night battle only change it is the very slightest in favor of Edward, which I don't get why it's so bad. Do we get town or anything? Do we get any high ground? There's in terrain-wise, there's very little. We actually do get. We start off on high ground. We attack downwards towards the enemy, which kind of sits at the village. I like this thing. But the thing is, I kind of wish there was a way where you could... I think I've talked about this before. Where you could actually kind of more clearly see on the ground where you need to put the army. So you can position it in a way like, oh, this is favorable ground right here. And like if I stand here, I'll get high ground and so forth. Rather than here, it's just like, oh, we happen to end up like this. And it just happened that I've got the high ground. But with that said, let's go ahead and fight this battle, shall we? Right, so this battlefield is rather interesting comparatively to the other ones we've had, which are mostly flat ground and very similar looking. We actually gain a substantial hill, which I actually didn't thought we would get. I thought we would get like not even half of this, maybe like 10% or something, like just the slightest hill. Looks like the town close by seems to be some sort of mining community. But that is not important. The important thing is to strive forward and strike at our foes. So, since I'm attacking, I mean the hill is not gonna do a whole lot for me. But I do of course have the possibility, if things go poorly, to be able to retreat back up the hill, and then it will be quite useful.
Eager to fight.
Right, looks like the enemy's just gonna sit down there. First things first is that we're gonna take care of the cavalry, shall we? We're gonna meet the enemy's cavalry on the field.
We will prevail.
And we'll strike them down. Scout horsemen on this side, and it's things on this side. I like how they start to reorganize the entire army as soon as a bit of cavalry comes close.
The enemy approaches.
And they form a blob in the center. Right. Do I have any weaker targets? Danelaw Axemen.
Cavalry! Horsemen! Horsemen!
Could be a weaker target. I don't know where their cavalry went on this side.
To victory!
I think that the Axemen might be no, they're not actually a weak target. There are a few weak targets, but I think if we actually hammer and anvil charge these guys in their back. So the enemy cavalry was completely killed off almost. Oh, look at that. As the enemy is relocating their army,
our hidden units have been discovered.
they have left all their archers and all their weaker troops open to our attack. And their spearmen are not really close enough to support them. Oh, they are actually moving in now. But I mean, not before I've routed 2 of their archer units. And my other cavalry units seem to have quite easily killed off that other enemy cavalry. So now the enemy finds themselves without cavalry and with my army approaching.
Shift yourselves! Faster!
They still actually have that one horseman left.
Drive the horses! They will know fear!
Shield biters. I guess those are berserks. And And there's only 80 of them, and they're sort of on their own. Oh, they are actually within bow range. We'll hold. We'll fight the bastards. They're coming at us at this point. And their bowmen should quite quickly fall prey to our bowmen. Just slay them. And the enemy army is charging up this very steep hill. Putting quite a few troops on this side. Since it looks like this side is the one they're gonna try to flank on, I'm gonna move over my heavier axemen. We'll have the archers just back up a little bit, and then we'll have the axemen come around and charge these guys in the back. Should be exactly the purpose you're supposed to use these guys for. Oh, look at that, the generals are both in here somewhere, fighting each other. The Huskars are moving in, ready for the hammer and anvil. The cavalry is here to sweep away all the archers. General versus general. Let's go close and see if we can't. Seems quite hard. I can't really see. I know that Edward got a yellow cloak. So if we see a yellow cloak, that's Edward. Looks like all the enemy's bodyguards got yellow cloaks. Here comes the hammer and anvil.
The battle is turning in our favor.
And quickly, they just go straight through these bastards. It just rips away the shields. This is how you're supposed to use the Huskars. I think, yeah, we have one mailed spearman there that kind of over pushed and got straight into quite a bit of trouble over here. We're gonna do the Huskar charge. Same right there. Oh, the enemy general pulls back. Our general's gonna follow. Huskars are in position. Spearman will move downhill. I think we've got a similar result right here. Look at all the heads that start rolling down the hill. So many heads started rolling down the hill, and they quickly realize they're not in a particularly great position, stuck in between these two units. Oh, and the enemy general has decided to give up.
The enemy general is dead.
The enemy general is dead. The only thing that's kind of left is the shield biters. And I imagine it's going to take quite a bit to actually get these guys. I don't think they are going to give up that easy, but I mean, it doesn't look like that's going to be much of a problem because we absolutely slaughtered them. Victory! So within 10 minutes, we turned this field red with not that many losses. Actually, the king started losing at the very end. He started losing men, so I'm not entirely sure who we met down here. We'll have the cavalry just run down all of these guys. Maybe see if we can relocate the archers to the point where they can shoot down some of those. And then we'll switch over and see if the father can do as well as the son. And here we have the end results of the battle. We were able to kill more or less the entire army, and the ones that we didn't kill we took prisoner, leaving only 94 of them left. And as we can see, not a single unit in this case. Didn't lose that many on my side. And 500 out of 2,500 roughly, which isn't that bad. A fifth of our force, 20%, compared with the enemy, of course, which lost 100%. So that's not too bad, I'd say. And an 11% replenishment rate, rank 5. So I wonder if... oh yeah, we need to take back this place. We get another 11% replenishment for taking back the town. So he should be back in action quite soon. And with that, let's have the king strike the enemy, and hopefully, yes, they will stand, and we will have a battle in the marshes. Let's see how it looks. Right, very disappointed, very little marshy land. In the other one down there, there was actually a marshy bit of marshy land. It says wetland. And I mean, it's wetland, it's next to the river crossing point, I don't know, but... right. Let's go ahead and fight this, shall we? The ground here is actually quite a bit marshy. Marshier than it looked on the actual map that we saw. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to lure the enemy to fight me in the marsh, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to fight them on the boring old plain. It would have been a lot cooler to fight here in the marsh, where there's a lot of places where you can kind of have choke points, and my plan was actually maybe to build a choke point here. Then if units come out here and attack them, maybe trap them. If you put the choke point here, you could have archers then firing in through the side, and a lot of interesting stuff like that. But that it will not be for us. Instead, it's a straight up fight here. So you might notice that the cavalry is gone, and so is all of their archers, and that's what I tried to do to sort of lure them into attacking me. They moved forward a little bit, which made me hopeful that we might have a marsh battle. But when they stopped, I decided I was going to go ahead and attack them with my horsemen and drive away all their archers, and in that way get them to go ahead and join battle with us in the marsh. I've placed the Huskars on this side, so they will charge in the flank on this side, and then I've got my archers in the flank on this side, so that they will any units that comes through here will be absolutely peppered in the side, and if they actually join battle with my troops on the side, they will be fired at their backs by those archers. And the enemy at this point only has one really tiny unit of archers, which right now is firing on my general. And as we can see, our line extends way further than the enemy. And at this point we outnumber them with about 300 men. Closer to 400 actually. We'll see. Where did they put the general? I wish the king to charge in against the enemy king.
Archers! Courage, man!
Right, I'm gonna send forward my archers, so we're gonna start shooting these guys in the flank. Okay, the enemy keeps retreating back towards the forest.
On the double!
Wow. Why did you go ahead and
Run, warriors!
move like that? Okay, it looks like they're charging.
Thanes!
Or at least some of the units are.
Feared! Run, warriors!
Incoming! Strike now! Hit hard! Annihilate them! Don't hold back!
Interesting how they sent forward one unit,
Hit hard!
kind of on their own.
Strike now!
Get them!
Oh, I don't even know if I'll get to use the Huskars here, because we outnumber the enemy so much. Interestingly how this one moved first to attack and kind of left all the others.
Agreed!
Just gonna use all the abilities right off the bat here.
See! They flee before our might!
Well, that was boring.
Lightning haste! Hit hard!
Huskars moving in. Gonna attack the general.
The battle
I
is
guess
turning
these
in our
guys
favor.
were
Awaiting orders!
quite shot to pieces by my archers. Oh, this one rallied to the point where they're charging the archers. Don't think they're gonna do too well then. This Huskar unit's actually doing quite well against my things.
Axemen! Annihilate them!
Let's see how my axemen do against their bodyguard, general's bodyguard. Should be able to get some of them in the charge.
Ready! Attack!
So we completely destroyed whatever was there.
Attack! Strike now! Hit hard!
The archers did their work. Let's move the archers a bit forward. And just for the hell of it, let's use fire arrows. Oh, looks like someone's given up. Few fire arrows flying in here. The enemy is not too happy about this.
Archers!
I want you to target the general, and then let's have everyone just drop their stand and fight. Bodyguard fights hard. I wonder which one of these is the general. We can find someone with a cloak. Kind of shooting down our own men at this point. I guess the enemy general is somewhere in there, retreating at this point. Kind of an unfortunate battle. I wished that we would have had been able to find them in the marshes. It's really cool that you set fire to the terrain like this. And our troops move forwards through a forest on fire. And there's a mass amount of troops running away over here.
Bowman! Run, warriors!
I might have needed my cavalry at this point just to chase down all of them. And we didn't kill their general, did we?
By Jesus, we
So
won.
one of these guys. I'm guessing the guy with the cloak.
Well done, lads! Set for war!
Guess the spearman are the closest one. See if we can get rid of him.
Spearman!
Thanks.
And that's the last thing we'll do to make sure that their general does not leave the field.
Spearman!
Thanks. We've broken their spirit.
Feared! Don't hold
Maybe
back.
they get the archers even closer. There's one guy that survived out of this unit.
Shields up. We will have vengeance.
Spearman!
Oh,
Thanks.
we are closing in on him.
Thanks. Annihilate them.
By Jesu, we will punish the pagans. And he's walking like nothing.
Well done, lads!
And suddenly, oh, I'm surrounded by enemies. Looks like his bodyguard was killed. Oh, there we go. And off with his head.
Making ready.
Didn't get a message about it though. Huh.
Don't hold back.
But that should have been the general, as far as I knew. Right, let's go ahead and end the battle. The outcome of the battle is as follows. So, as we can see, I think the general was killed. There's 0 men left in his unit. Highest killer on their side seems to have been those Huskars that made the first charge. Managed to kill 112 of my men. On my side, it goes to... Cavalry is just about outpaced by one of my mailed things with 245 compared to one of the cavalry that got 244. However, all the cavalry units more or less were killed off. So I think I'll only have one of those once we actually go back to the campaign map, which should be now. And yeah, no, actually 2 cavalry units survived. I thought I'd lose 3. Right. Oh, 2 units actually survived on their side, so maybe I'll have to chase them again. At least it's on the right side
The men
of
are
the
ready to
river.
serve.
Let's get out of the marsh though.
To glory we march. My warriors
It doesn't
are
matter that much
steadfast
if
and
they're
true.
able to escape this. With that said, however, I think that's it for the video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And hopefully, I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!